Now, first of all, we will understand figures of speech based on similarity. Okay, so basically, these figures of speech highlight similarities between different objects, ideas, or concepts, which create a vivid imagery or emphasize a shared quality. Like, first number is simile, a comparison between two different things using like or as. For example, her eyes sparkled like diamonds. Now, a simile draws a comparison between the sparkle of eyes and diamonds to enhance the description. Second is metaphor, an implied comparison where one thing is said to be another. Example, the world is a stage. This metaphor compares the world to a stage using, like, without using, sorry, like or as, suggesting life is like a theatrical performance. Now, analogy, a more elaborate comparison between two concepts, often used to explain a complex idea by relating it into simpler one. Example, life is like a journey. You choose your path and navigate obstacles. Now, the analogy explains life by comparing it to a journey. Now, figures of speech based on obliqueness. These figures of speech involve indirectness or subtlety in expression, often requiring interpretation to uncover the meaning. Like, first is irony, expressing something contrary to its literal meaning, often to emphasize humor or criticism. Like, for example, what a beautiful day during a storm. Now, irony lies in saying the opposite of what is true, creating an indirect critique or humor. Second is allegory, a symbolic narrative that conveys a hidden meaning, typically moral or political. Example, Animal Farm by George Orwell is an allegory of the Russian Revolution. The story uses animals and farm events to indirectly comment on political themes. Number third is paradox, a seemingly contradictory statement that reveals in a deeper truth. Example, less is more. Although it seems contradictory, the statement highlights how simplicity can be powerful, right? Number third, figures of speech based on difference. These figures of speech emphasize contrast or opposing ideas. Number one is antithesis, the juxtaposition of contrasting ideas in a balanced sentence. Example, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. The contrast between the best and the worst highlight the quality of the era described. Now, second is oxymoron, a figure of speech that combines two contradictory terms. Example, bittersweet memories. Now, the oxymoron combines opposing ideas, bitter and sweet, to emphasize the complexity of what? Emotions. Poetry is one of the oldest and most profound forms of human expression. It transcends ordinary language, capturing emotions, ideas, and expressions in a rhythmic, imaginative, and often symbolic way. Over centuries, poets, philosophers, and scholars have attempted to define poetry, leading to a wide range of interpretations that reflect its evolving nature and universal appeal. While the essence of poetry lies in its ability to evoke emotions and provoke thought, its definition often depends on cultural, historical, and artistic contexts. Now, we will look at the classical definition of poetry. Plato's view of poetry. Plato, a Greek philosopher, viewed poetry as an imitation of reality. In his work, The Republic, he criticized poets for creating illusions and misleading people. He saw poetry as removed from the truth, focusing instead on emotions rather than reason. However, this critique acknowledged the powerful emotional impact of poetry and attribute to its essence. Now, coming towards Aristotle's definition. In contrast to Plato, Aristotle provided a more appreciative definition of poetry in his seminal work Poetics. He described poetry as an art form that imitates life through rhythm, language, and harmony. He emphasized the cathartic effect of poetry, which allows audience to experience and release emotions such as pity and fear. Aristotle's definition laid the foundation for understanding poetry as both an emotional and intellectual endeavor.